Hi, folks. A very warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. Xander here to go through everything Celtic, the Stuttgart game, the Hibs game, the Celtic news latest, everything else in between. And by golly, there's a lot to go through. Let's bring in John. How's things today, John?
Just a bit over that result in the midweek there.
Yeah, I know. Pathetic, John. Absolutely dire performance by Celtic. It really was. And don't get me wrong, I'm only going by the highlights that I've saw. I didn't see the whole game, John. But from what I've heard and what I've saw, the players just didn't turn up, did they, against Stuttgart?
No, it was pretty poor. But look, Stuttgart are a cracking team as well, but it just shows you how far behind in Europe we've actually fell. You get to see the real level of Celtic when you're playing against a team like Stuttgart. Good team that they are. They're not exactly Real Madrid, Xander. They shouldn't be getting beat 4-1 at home.
No, definitely not, John. And obviously, all the issues surrounding Celtic just now is definitely 100% affecting the players on the park, John. So we'll go through that, have a wee word on that. But for us now, John, Celtic fans, supporters, players, manager and everybody, it's all about the domestic game now, John. And you did say on the last podcast that you did want Celtic to get a heavy defeat because it may affect morale going into the run-in in the domestic game, John. And it was a heavy defeat, but we still need to hope, as Big Liam Scales has said, it will not derail our season.
We'll wait and see. It's everything I wanted to avoid. Every Celtic fan wanted to avoid a heavy defeat at home when there's bigger games to worry about in the league. It's the last thing we need. I've said it for weeks and weeks. It's this Europe thing. It's the last thing Celtic need right now because they're so vulnerable, fragile. They're open to a heavy defeat. And it wouldn't surprise me if they took a heavy defeat against Hibs. I'm not saying they will, but would I be surprised if it did happen? No, really.
Yeah. Where do we go from here, John? Everything is just an absolute mess. But then you look at the other side of the coin, you flip the coin over, John, and you've got Celtic win their next 3 league games. We're clear at the top of the league, John, with a few half-decent wins there, a couple of 2 or 3-0 wins, John. I know the games against Hibs, Rangers and Aberdeen, but if we win these 3 games, John, we're well clear of Rangers, well clear of them by about 5 points, and obviously we should be above Hearts at that point as well, John. So, another 3 league wins, John, and it's... things don't really look as bad as what they are just now. But of course, that is all if, buts and maybes, John. Winning the next 3 league games isn't exactly going to be easy, is it?
No, far from easy. The last 3 games weren't exactly easy, were they? And the domestic stuff, Falkirk, Livingston and Dundee, really struggled against them. Really struggled. Last second winners. That's, if you want a gauge of how far Celtic have fallen behind, that's it. Kilmarnock, Dundee and Falkirk. These are low-level Scottish teams. They shouldn't be giving Celtic a game and making the fans wait until the last second for a winner. That's a gauge of how far we have fallen behind. I've been saying Falkirk, Dundee and Kilmarnock maybe good teams. They're not that good, Xander. They're probably very poor teams. It's just Celtic have fallen so far back that it looks like every team's caught up with them. That's the truth.
Yeah, of course, John. It's not the fact that the teams have got any better. It's just you say, John, we fell back so badly. But as I say, next 3 wins puts us top of the table. So things are not exactly as bad as everybody thinks, John, because we're still in with a great shout of winning the league, John. We really are. But we need to get the mess sorted out first, John, and we'll get into the mess because that's in amongst the news, the mess surrounding Celtic Park just now, and there's a lot of it, let's be honest, John. But just to come off track for a wee minute, I wanted to quickly, I was listening to the radio there. The games are about to start in about 5-10 minutes. I was listening to the radio and Alistair Lament, the guy we've been talking about for the last few weeks, John, on the BBC, laughing at him. He was interviewing which is his name, Derek McInnes, talking about Hearts, their game with Falkirk and where they are in the season so far, blah, 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 right? And Lamont's question, I've got it wrote down here, John. what do you put Hearts' wave of success down to this season? Right, wave of success, John. Was Alistair Lament, whatever the guy's name is, was he at Ibrox last weekend, where Hearts took a pounding 4-1, and the weekend before that, where St Mirren beat them at New Love Street, or whatever their stadium's called, John? Was he there, Alistair Lament? What is this wave of success he's talking about? What trophies have Hearts won this season?
I think they've won the winning the league in October trophy. They won in the league in January trophy or December trophy, was it? I think that's about it. It's a bit, all joking aside, but that's about all I've won so far. Celebrating like they've won the league, I think, 3 times. After Celtic games, they don't seem to do that. After Rangers games, they only do that when they keep that for Celtic for some reason. I don't know why. Obviously, Celtic are the main threat to them. That's clearly obvious. But no, there's nothing to celebrate. They've had no success for years. I think the last success Hearts had was beating Hibs in the Scottish Cup final years ago, 5-1, I think. Yeah. But no, look, you can't go... I didn't hear what Alistair Lamont says, but you can't go saying a wave of success when you're still 11 games to go in the league and you're only 3 points ahead. That's just insanely stupid.
Yeah, with other clubs with games in hand to catch up, John. Yeah, wave of success. Absolutely fantastic. Alistair Lament, BBC journalist. Unbelievable. Right, John, let's get into the Celtic stuff again.
I was going to say, though, but to be fair to him, I really enjoyed his commentary for the Kilmarnock against Celtic game last week. I really enjoyed that. I thought he did a great job when Celtic scored the last second winner. I really enjoyed that, to be honest with you, but I think that's the only thing I've ever enjoyed from him. I don't hear that much of him, to be honest with you. No, for years, but fair play to him there on that front. He did a good job on the commentary in that game. I've listened to it a couple of times.
Yeah, we were just talking about Kilmarnock's wave of success when they're 2-0 up, you know.
I never mentioned a wave of success there. You might have mentioned how BBC Rangers maybe missed a name on the panel or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. The Kilmarnock bench, half of the BBC Sports Sound team.
Yeah, job for the boys, isn't it, John? It really is. But before we get into the news and the Hibs preview, then, folks, we'll quickly do the predictor for this weekend. I've not went into the midweek one to see how many we've got right or wrong, but we'll catch up with that Monday. But we'll quickly run through the predictor, John, where you're 5 ahead. I think is it 23-18, something like that, 24-19, something like that. Anyway, you're 5 ahead anyway, John. We'll do this weekend's one right now before the games kick off. We'll start with Aberdeen against Dundee on Saturday.
Need to be quick, there's only 2 minutes to kick off. 4 minutes. Aberdeen against Dundee, that was one I was going to try and catch. I think Aberdeen in midweek, I watched that game. They very fortunate, Motherwell down to 9 players, you know.
Yeah.
And Aberdeen down to 10 players. Quite a good game, actually. Quite a good game. Yeah. I'll go for an Aberdeen win. I think they maybe get a wee bit of confidence after that. I thought they played quite well, to be honest with Aberdeen. I'll go for 3-1 to Aberdeen.
Okay, John, 3-1 to you. And by the way, I did say that they'll be on form by the time they play Celtic. I did say that, John, and that is exactly what's going to happen. And I will say 2-0 to Aberdeen in that one, John. Dundee United against Kilmarnock.
Oh, BBC Rangers.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And these guys will finish up with Kilmarnock and end up back on the BBC again after all their antics with Celtic players and all that. Pretending that they're neutrals under, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
What an absolute joke it is, this country. But what are we anyway? Kilmarnock against who?
Dundee United against Kilmarnock.
Dundee United, sorry, against Kilmarnock. I'll go for an Arabs win. I think United to beat them. Hopefully. I'll go for a 2-0 to the Arabs.
I'll say 1-0 to Dundee United, that one, John. Hopefully, as you say. Okay, wave of success, Heart of Midlothian Football Club against Falkirk, John.
Falkirk have given them a game a couple of times this season, haven't they?
Yeah.
put them out of the cup, took points after them in the league, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm going to go for a narrow Hearts win in this one, though. I'm going to say 1-0 to Hearts.
I'll say 2-1 to Hearts, John, in that one. Okay, moving on. St Mirren against Motherwell.
Oh, Motherwell maybe took a bit of a stuffing after going down to 9 men against Aberdeen. Maybe their confidence is taking a stuffing, should I say. I'll go for a St Mirren win. No, I'll go for a draw. I'll go for 1 each.
And 2-1 to Motherwell for me in that one, John. They'll bounce back after the midweek game against Aberdeen. Okay, quick Lenny watch. Arbroath against Dunfermline.
The pitch was a mess against Motherwell, by the way, the Aberdeen pitch. It was a mess.
Yeah, it's quite bad up there, John.
Anyway, I'll go for a Lenny win there. I'll go for 2-0 to Lenny's mob, Dunfermline.
0-2 for John, and I will say 3-1 to Lenny in that particular game. And a quick Brunny watch. Ayr United against Ross County.
Ross County to win 3-1.
I'm going to go the draw on that one, John. 1 apiece in that one for Scott Brown's Ayr United. Just a couple to go, John. Celtic B against Clydebank.
Clydebank to beat them 4-1.
Big defeat there, John, isn't it? 2-2 in that one for me. Livy. Why have I wrote this down? Yeah, Sunday's game, sorry. Livingston against the Rangers, John.
3-1 to the Rangers.
Yes, a guaranteed win there, isn't it, John? I'll say 2-0 to the Rangers. And last of all, very last one in this weekend's predictor, John. Celtic women, ladies, girls, females against the Hearts, John. The women's game, what do you think there?
Tricky game, that one, I think. But I think the Celtic women, ladies, girls, females beat Hearts the last time. I can't remember, but I'll go for a Celtic ladies, women's, females win. 2-1. 2-1,
yeah, 2-0 for me. I think. They've not recently just played Hearts and they're playing them again. Anyway, that's that, John. That's
they did. I think they beat them 2-1.
Did they? Right. I don't know why they're playing them this weekend as well. I don't understand that. But anyway, one might have been a cup game or something, John. Don't know. All right, that's enough of that. I'll quickly run through the midweek predictor, John, if you can remember anything that we said. Dundee United 2, Spartans 1. That was the cup replay, so Dundee United through in that one. Morton 2, Dunfermline 0. Lenny, we defeat for them against Morton. St Johnstone 3, Ayr United 3. Ayr United went through on penalties in the Challenge Cup. So well done to Bruni there. And as you said a couple of minutes ago, Aberdeen 2, Motherwell 0, John, and that cracker that you said, all the red cards. That's us right up to speed, John. Right up to speed with the predictor. We'll do a wee quick calculation on the score, but I think it remains the same, John, to be honest with you. So it still remains 24-19 to you, John. So flying, absolutely flying in both competitions. Okay, league predictor, big league table on your left-hand side. Want to get your guess in for that? For Celtic against Hibs at Celtic Park, Sunday at 3 o'clock. Get your guess in just now for that. If you want to join that league table, put your name in the comments that you want to join the league table. Better late than never, and it just gets your foot in the door for next season as well, because there's a few spaces left. But everybody else, get your guess in for Hibs versus Celtic on Sunday. John sitting top there with Collins in second, Roseanne in third, Mad About Football's up there as well. And everybody else in behind. So good luck everybody with that to win the fantastic box of Celtic goodies at the end of the season. Big box of Celtic goodies, plenty of stuff there that every Celtic fan would want. Right, John, let's park that. Oh, aye, one more thing. Hit the like button, folks, if you don't mind, because the likes have went up and up and up. It's been brilliant. Good to see it, actually. Channel's doing okay. But hit that like button. That would be very much appreciated. And subscribe as well if you want. That'd be good as well. Right, John, the big talking points or the news, if you like, surrounding Celtic just now, and this is really frustrating, John, when you think about where we were this time last season winning the double, doing brilliant in Europe. And it's only a few months later, John, you've got to bear in mind, where the board have really stitched us up, I think, John, as regards to money being spent on players. I know we've brought in some loan signings, not good enough for me. The Green Brigade getting banned from the stadium, absolutely ridiculous decision. Bringing in Wilfred Nancy, another ridiculous decision. All the carry on with Brendan Rodgers and then getting rid of Martin O'Neill and then bringing him back again. The board have just, for me anyway, my personal opinion is the board have shafted us this season, John. But we're lucky to still be in this league title, to be honest with you.
Aye. You consider all the ups and downs surrounding the club. It's actually amazing that Celtic are still in contention to win this. I mean, normally by this time of the season, Celtic are flying into, they're miles ahead of everybody. And you look at them now, absolutely struggling to get a win. All right, we've won the last 3 games in a row. Fantastic. In the domestic game, that's fantastic, amazing. I love that. I love to see Celtic winning, obviously. But it's the manner of the wins, it's the struggling, it's the heavy weight that's surrounding the club right now. And the board don't seem to be doing anything to rectify that. That's the issue, isn't it? They're just no interested in fixing this issue. They don't care if Celtic lose the league. They're trying to punish the Celtic fans. They know they're under the cosh from the fans, and their response to that, instead of doing something to help the team and help the fans, make them happy, their response to that is to make them more miserable. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I can see.
Yeah, the exact same thing happened during the COVID season. You ought to remember that, John. The board wouldn't come out with statements. They weren't talking to the fans groups, blah, 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 blah. And the exact same thing is now happening again, John. So we just hope it's a different outcome come the end of the season, John. We certainly don't want the Rangers winning this league title, that's for sure. A team absolutely pathetic. They could go and lift that trophy, John. Just doesn't bear thinking about. So we need to, as players at the club, John, need to up the ante a wee bit. They really need to start getting the finger out. They're better players than what they're showing on the park, John. That's the way I look at it.
Aye, I mean, the players, look, you can't say that there's no responsibility on their shoulders, because clearly there is a responsibility on their shoulders. They're underperforming. And it's not just slightly underperforming. It's not like one player's getting an 8 out of 10 one week and a 7 out of 10 the next. These players are all performing at 3 and 4 out of 10, Sander, with a couple of exceptions. Every single player is below 5 out of 10 every week. So that shows you how much the performances have dropped from them players. They're playing for Celtic and they're giving the performance of a Brecon City player. No disrespect to Brecon City, by the way, but they're not performing like players that are on 30, 40 grand a week, are they?
No, they're not, John. And, we haven't done a player score, ranking score, John, 1 out of 10 for weeks, because the performance levels have been so poor and we don't want to embarrass them. But, you're right, John, the performance levels have went so low that, you can't give players rankings because of that role. I mean, if you're going to give players rankings for the performance in midweek against Stuttgart, albeit they're a higher level of opposition. But we played Bayern Munich just a few months ago, John, and practically played them off the park in their own stadium. So, a big drop-off, John. You're absolutely bang on. And let's get into the things surrounding the club just now then, John. We're making news everywhere. Celtic are making news up and down the country. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I've certainly seen it. English news, Swedes, reels everywhere, John. Celtic fans booing their own player, Kasper Schmeichel. Now, we have went on about Kasper now for months, John, how many goals he conceded. We've been adding them up on a weekly basis. 20, 25, 30, 40, now it's up to 45, John, goals conceded. For a Celtic goalkeeper, John, with still 13, 14 games to go in the season, including cup games. It isn't good enough, John, but in the same breath, we do not want to see Celtic supporters booing our own players. That we just do not want to see that, do we?
No, certainly not. I mean, you've got to back the team when you're at the stadium. You've got to get behind the team. I know it's hard. I know it is hard. You're watching your team getting slaughtered by... They're a decent German side, Stuttgart. Decent German side. Not to the level of Bayern Munich. Celtic should not be getting pumped 4-1 at Celtic Park by a team like Stuttgart. That should never be happening. but they're a good team. But conceding 4 goals, Kasper Schmeichel, and getting booed by the Celtic fans, there's 3 of the goals. 3 of the goals he could have prevented, and he just lets 2 of them go right through his gloves. It's no good enough for it. Celtic's always had a really half decent keeper in their team. Honestly, you could have stuck Luke McCown in the goals and he would have did a better job than him.
For his own sake, John, I think he needs dropped. But we've been mentioning that for weeks anyway. But now it's for his own good, Kasper's own good, because he's headed absolutely everywhere, John. And he's letting in very soft goals. Kamara had a couple of soft goals, another 3 or 4 soft goals against the Germans in midweek there, John. So for his own good, he needs dropped, bring him back in a few weeks when his confidence is built up a wee bit. But something like that, John. I don't know. But for the boys' insanity, I think he now needs dropped from the team, John. We do have a decent goalkeeper in Sinisalo. Not had a chance this season at all. Played 1 or 2 cup games. But he needs his wee run in between the sticks for me, John. Sinisalo.
We definitely need a change of keeper, but to side with Kasper Schmeichel for a second, to take his side for a second, he ain't getting any help for that right and rotten defence either. Scales and Trusty are a bomb scare now. Scales was my player of the season last season, and probably the season before that or whatever. Outstanding performances across the board for Liam Scales. Praising him every single week. Now he looks like a nervous wreck. Honestly, every time the ball gets near him, I'm hiding. He's a nervous wreck. Maybe it's the fact that he's playing beside Trusty that isn't helping him. I'm not really sure. But look, like I say, stay side with Kasper for a wee second. He ain't getting any help from his defence either.
No, he is not, John. And I said in the last podcast, the preview of the Stuttgart game, that Big Trusty is an absolute bomb scare domestically, but he seems to save his best for Europe, and then boom, look what happens on Thursday night there, John. We did have the goalkeeper that was the answer to the problem, John. Big Connor Hazard, I thought, was a decent big goalkeeper. Won us the quadruple treble as well, saving the penalties and the shootout with the Hearts. He was the man, he was the answer. Big 6'7" goalkeeper, John. Good shot stopper. And we got rid of him. I just didn't understand that one. But that's Celtic for you all over the back, isn't it?
I don't remember much of Connor Hazard, to be honest with you. I remember him. I don't remember much of his performances. But what I've seen of Sinisalo last season, I thought he was a really decent keeper. I think he's only played a couple of times this season, a couple of performances. He's got to be picked in the starting lineup from now on. And like you say, Kasper's head, that'll be all over the place. So I think it's time for him to step down for a few games. Give him time to get himself sorted out mentally. But you could say the same thing about the defence as well, but you've got absolutely nobody to cover them.
No, the lone boy, John Arthur, still not kicked a ball, and the big boy, the big youngster at centre half.
Dane Murray, aye.
Yeah, Dane Murray. I was just thinking there, John, who was the goalkeeper we signed from Aberdeen as well? Number 3 goalkeeper. He's not even had a shot on the bench yet, so I can't remember who that was. But maybe it's time to start bringing him in as well, John, the 32-year-old. I can't remember the boy's name. But we signed him in the summer there, John, and he's not had a sniff, has he? So maybe a wee chance for Martin O'Neill to have a look at some of the other goalkeepers in the squad, John. I
actually forgot all about him.
Yeah.
I mean, where is he? Like you says, I've not seen him.
No, nowhere to be seen, John. Nowhere to be seen. And not even on the bench, John. That's the worrying thing about it. But that's down to Martin O'Neill, John. He picks the squad, he picks the team. He's really got to start looking at Kasper Schmeichel, John, for his own sake. The manager's got to take him out of the team. As you say, John, for his own sake. And as you say, maybe after 3-4 weeks, he can come back into the team. A more refreshed goalkeeper, John, and then hopefully by that point as well, the defence has got itself sorted.
I doubt that. I just cannot see that defence getting itself sorted. Now, I was talking about bringing Johan Mjällby in as a defensive coach, and his presence on the bench would be fantastic for Celtic. At the end of the day, I'm reading about Chris Sutton saying Get me on that bench, I'll sort things out.
You would. The big Chris Sutton wouldn't take any nonsense, would they? But no, I think if you look at the bench, John, you've got McManus there, you've got Strachan there, you've got obviously Martin and Neil there. But that's the boys that Martin wants beside him there, John. So, and as I said at the very top, John, still a great chance of winning the league, but we need to now start acting very fast. And as regards to getting the players back on form, John, and there's no better place to start than a win against Hibs at Celtic Park on Sunday.
That's it, isn't it? Like I say, it's midweek. You don't know what kind of battering the Celtic players' mentality has took after a beating like that at Celtic Park. But aye, it's a chance to bounce back into it. It's a big game. It's a bigger game than the Stuttgart game, let's be honest. To me, it always has been a bigger game than the Stuttgart game. So, aye, it's a chance to bounce back. Don't know how tired the players will be because they did a lot of chasing the Stuttgart players about. They just looked 5 miles off the pace compared to Stuttgart, didn't they? It was boys against men. By the way, I was going to say a big thank you to the Stuttgart fans for putting the Green Brigade's banner up for them in the corner.
Oh, did you know that was their fans were actually tremendous, weren't they, John? They just sung their hearts out for the whole game from start to finish. And the German fans are normally like that, aren't they? No matter what club it is, John, they're normally
they were outstanding, Xander. They sang for start. It's fair play to every single one of them that showed up. The Stuttgart fans, absolutely brilliant fans, cracking team as well. But that was a touch of class. The Green Brigade have obviously given them a banner they put across the front, and they had it up through the game, a big banner right across their section. Can't remember exactly what it said on it, but you've got to thank them for that, you know what I mean, for doing their bit there.
Yeah, a nice touch, John, you're absolutely right. Well done to them. But it was the Celtic fans, John, that we're going to be talking about. And by the way, Ross Doohan was the goalkeeper we signed from Aberdeen. And then we sent Inamura out on loan, John, a guy who played pre-season and didn't put a foot wrong. And we send him out on loan, Hayato Inamura. Boy, could we be doing with him in the squad just now?
I could get him in the goals.
yeah, of course. And by the looks of things, John, it may have nothing to do with it. It looks as though we're drastically missing Arnie Engels, John. Look at Kilmarnock game, look at the game in midweek. You know, I'm not saying one player makes a team in it like that, but, you know, I know the performances have not been great all season, but the last 2 performances have been the worst we've seen all season.
Well, we started with Bernardo, didn't we, in the centre of the park against Stuttgart.
Yeah.
That was a red flag right away when I seen him starting. Right away, I'm thinking, this is not good. I don't know if I'd have preferred Luke McCown to start in there. He's not the best player in the world, Luke McCown, but he gives his all. I would rather have seen Luke McCown starting than Bernardo, to be honest with you. Or Hatate. Hatate, I mean, he's not been the player he used to. He's not the player he used to be, but he would have done a better job than Paulo Bernardo. He was terrible, Xander. Yeah,
we've been saying for weeks, John, that he's more or less finished because when he does get his chance, his performances are dreadful. And Thursday night again, John, I know everybody played very poorly on Thursday night, but he's that, you know, main playmaker in midfield, John, and by all accounts, he never done much at all in the game. Right, John, we'll move on because there's a lot to get through and very little time to do it. So let's move it on. The protest, John, the protest. Balls on the park, again, tennis balls and other balls thrown at the park by a section of the Celtic supporters. Now, this is also all over the UK, John, isn't it? A European game getting disrupted. In fact, it's all over Europe. Getting disrupted by a protest by a segment of the Celtic supporters. You know, people are allowed to protest. But, John, it's definitely a distraction we do not need at the moment.
The way I look at that is there's a time and a place for it. There's certainly not at the very start of a game when the players have just been hyped up by the manager. You can picture the changing room. Mark O'Neill's hyping the players up. He's getting them ready for a big, big game. The players are prepared, and by the time that protest starts, it's took the stuffing right out of the players. All that, boosting the morale and all that in the changing room, that's all gone after that. They've got to sit for 5 minutes waiting. And by the time the game starts again, the Celtic players have probably forgotten everything that was said to them and more interested in what's happened in the crowd. It's took their mind off the game. It could have affected it. I don't disagree with protests, of course, but I think the timing of that was very, very poor.
Major distraction, John. I know people say, oh, listen, I'm talking about a protest. It's not to do with that. It's to do with the level of player that we've got. No, John, you're absolutely right. There's a big build up to the game, and then it has to get stopped for 5 minutes. And everybody, by the looks of the protest, it didn't look like there was, a lot involved in it. There wasn't as many balls as there normally is thrown onto the park at these away games, but it's still there nevertheless, John. It definitely does affect the players. It definitely affected the manager, John, because he came out in his interview afterwards with comments on the fans, John. And the internal bickering now is spread all over the club, John. Fans and manager, manager and fans, fans and board, manager and board, manager and fans. It's everywhere. Players and fans, players and board. It's just right through the club now, John. And I don't see any quick fix to this, do you?
Well, there's only one group of people that can fix it, and that's the board. It's as simple as that. I mean, it goes right through the whole club. This carry on, it goes right through the whole club. For the fans, right through the board, the players on the park. When there's something big like that happening at a club, I'm sure the players feel that as well. So it's going to affect them. But of course, it's going to affect their performances. But you can only start to fix it in one place, Sander, and that's at the top level on the board. You can't start fixing it on the pitch. You've got to start fixing it for the root of the problem, and that's the board.
Yeah, and I know the meetings were held last week, and there was some progress I heard, but couldn't have been that much progress after what happened to Thursday night, John. Martin O'Neill's comments about the fans need their heads examined, the ones that threw the balls onto the park, John. A lot of people not happy with that particular comment. You need to watch what you're saying these days, I suppose, don't you? Every word gets scrutinised. But Martin O'Neill was just showing his displeasure at the whole thing, John. That's all that is.
Well, he's a guy that he manages a team. He's got them all ready for the game. He's done his best to prepare them for the kick-off and all that, what's to be expected at kick-off. And within a few seconds, the pitch is full of tennis balls. And it's totally disrupted everything that he's told the players. So I can see his point.
Yeah, of course. I've never seen Martin O'Neill so angry, to be honest with you, John. And he must be really frustrated. He's came back. He's got the team back up and running again, getting points back near the top of the table. He got us pretty far in Europe as well. So you've got to remember that's a knockout stage in Europe as well. I'm just glad that it's over now, to be honest with you. We can now go to Stuttgart next midweek and play 18-year-olds. Doesn't matter what the score is, John, just play the 18-year-olds. People will be saying, oh, listen, we're still in this shout. No, we've no chance whatsoever. We're out of Europe now. So give the players a rest and get them ready for the Rangers game, John.
I don't know why any fans would be getting excited for Europe anyway, especially the state of the team. They're just going to get embarrassed when they go into Europe. So, any Celtic fans, forget about Europe this season. There's nothing's going to happen. We're not coming back from 4-1 down against a quality side like Stuttgart. That's not going to happen. It would take a minor miracle for something like that to happen. Personally, Celtic, for me, have got absolutely no chance of coming back from a defeat like that. If they wanted their chance to put Stuttgart out, they had it at Celtic Park, Xander. And that's gone now, that's away. So like you says, I would field a weaker side, concentrate on the league. There's bigger games to worry about than this.
Yeah, it was just a pity we couldn't field well, maybe a weaker team would have done better actually at Celtic Park on Thursday night, but we should have fielded a weaker team so that the players were fresh for Hibs. Of course, Hibs have had that full week's rest, the usual, John, into it. Just one more thing then, John, about the news and everything surrounding Celtic midweek there. The Scales interview, John, where he was very, very short with his answers, very angry with himself probably. But it was a strange sort of interview, wasn't it, John? But I've got to admit, the questions that Scales was getting asked were pretty stupid as well, John. So no wonder he was hitting out with the short answers.
Aye, I think he was still in shock, to be honest with you. I just don't think he wanted to be there. But the line of questioning is less than desirable, isn't it? It's very unprofessional.
Yeah, that's it, John. The whole of the country, John, including in England, is wanting Celtic to fail, and Celtic are providing that joy just now anyway, John. Let's put it that way. So finger out, lads. Everybody get your finger out. Let's concentrate on the big picture, that league title, that league trophy. And, and what a title it would be, John. It would be the best title I think we've ever won, actually. If we were to go on and lift the league title this year, John. And we're still in a fantastic prize. But I think Hibs, John, I think the Hibs game and result will tell us quite a lot.
Well, I don't know. It's no one I'm looking forward to anyway. You don't know what to expect from Celtic these days. Anything can happen when you're watching Celtic. I suppose it makes it a bit more exciting for people, but no, I don't mean excitement in a good way. I mean, the stress that creates for fans when you're watching Celtic now, you just don't know what Celtic's going to show up. I was going to say you can blame Nancy for that. 6 defeats in 8 games, getting pumped by all sorts of diddy teams. It doesn't help things. But it goes deeper than that. It was bad before Nancy came, to be honest with you, Xander. I know Mark Manuel lifted the team again, but even Brendan Rodgers, before the season even started, you could feel it building up. You just knew something bad was coming. I don't know what it is, but you just knew something bad was coming. Maybe it was the lack of signings and all that. All through the summer, we're talking about links to players and all that. Suddenly there's nothing, and nothing gets done. And the fans have reacted to that. Getting knocked out of the Champions League by, what were they called again? Kairat Almaty, wasn't it?
Kairat Almaty, yeah.
I think that was the one that started us under, was the defeat against Kairat Almaty. And since that, it's just went downhill and downhill. The only good spell we had was beating Rangers in the semi-final with Mark Manuel. Everybody wanted him to stay for the final at least, and they brought in Nancy. So it's just spiralled out of control. And you can see the fans' reason for being extremely angry at that. I don't blame any Celtic fan that isn't angry about it. I'm angry about it as well, so are you, so is every other Celtic fan. It needs sorted. And like I say, the only ones that can sort it is the guys that started it all, and that's the board.
Yeah, of course. It's selling your top assets, John, your O'Reillys, your Nicholas Coons, your Kyoglos, John. That's what started it all off as well. Into the player situation, we brought in Tenecti at 5 million. We brought in Balak at 5 million. Balak, where is he? We brought in Nygren at 2 million, John. Shinya Madhav we brought in for 1.5 million. Kieran Tierney we brought in a free for Arsenal. And the actual we brought in a free as well. Ross Duham, we spoke about him. He was a free. And Amura, undisclosed fee, but no more than 500,000. Puzzi we got on loan from Man City, and Sarachi we got on loan from Boca Juniors with Callum Osmond. There was a fee, just a small fee for him, but he was more or less a free signing as well, John, Callum Osmond. So the board didn't go that full hog and get those top quality players in, John, and that's what kicked it all off. You're absolutely bang on, John, absolutely bang on again. All right, John, let's get into the Hibs game then.
By the way, before we do get into that Hibs game, Xander, there is some fans, quite a lot of fans I've noticed in comments, still backing the board 100%.
Yeah, well, of course, I mean, people are entitled to do whatever they want to do, John. That's their decision. But for me, it's all down to the board. The whole mess is down to the board. And if people want to back the board, that's fair enough, John. I mean, we might still go on and lift this league trophy, but the performances, John, in the last 2-3 months anyway, John, at least, have been absolutely dire from a Celtic team, John. And it's just as well we're up against a poor Rangers and a poor Hearts, or else we'd be out of sight, John, because if we had a strong Rangers along beside us in the league, John, they'd be out of sight by now. It's just as well they're so poor. So we're still in with a fighting chance. I don't know if people want to back the board, that's entirely up to them, John. But, no spending the money, selling all the top assets and bringing in very poor quality signings, John. So, they only have decent players we brought in was Nigel, who's our top scorer, and young Tenecte. Really, that's really been it, John, for me.
Aye, well, Nigel, you don't get a decent shift out of him. I know he bangs in the goals, but he doesn't do anything else, really. He is half decent, don't get me wrong. I just expect more from players that play for Celtic. I expect more out of the performances. But he is a top goal scorer. We haven't got a striker. He's scored more goals than all strikers combined. That's how bad we've got. The other ones are like, obviously, the lone players, Arujo, or Arojo, if you want to call him that. I think he's been good. I think Sirachi's been outstanding. But I'd like to say is Barlett Wisher. What a waste of money. Who's scouting these players? Who scouted him and says he's worth £5 million or £4 million? Who scouted that and says, aye, that's a bargain, we'll take him?
Yeah, that's it, John. And of course, there was the summer signings I was talking about, John. That's what kicked the whole thing off. It's but your Barlett Wishers of this world, and then your Shinny Madders, all this. That's what the fans were getting upset about, John. The level of player that we were bringing in, and didn't get any better in January. Did it with 5 or 6 loan signings as well, John. So all these things take their toll in the end, John. You go to admit, and why would you back a board as well that totally destroys the heartbeat of the support, John, the Green Brigade, and eject them from the stadium for months, John? We need the fans back in the stadium to support the team, John. Not to protest, but to support the team when things are the way they are just now, John. And we definitely missed them on Thursday night.
Definitely. I mean, if you want to start getting the atmosphere back into the stadium, you need to get them back in. The place was dead again on Thursday night against Stuttgart. All you had was Stuttgart fans singing their heart out all night. You need to get the fans back in the stadium. That's the most important thing, is the fans. As Jock Stein says, without the fans, football is nothing. And this board's went right against that. We don't want fans. We'll do everything that we can to annoy them. Look, I don't know what the Green Brigade have done behind the scenes. Maybe they've done something that's caused the ban or something like that. I think the Green Brigade, their problem was the way they were being treated by the cops. Something like that, if I'm right. I might be wrong there. Somebody maybe from the Green Brigade listening can maybe give us a wee update on that. But I think it started with the cops, and then it went through to the board. They've banned the Green Brigade, and ever since then, they've not been let back in.
Yeah. All right, John.
A lot of people don't want them back in, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't want that fantastic atmosphere in the club. As long as they're supporting the team with the atmosphere they bring, that's all everybody wants, John. But we're parking there, John. We went on and on about it for a wee bit there. A good wee bit, actually, John. So we'll get into this Hibs game, the big preview of the Hibs game. Everything else, John, we'll just need to wait and see what happens over the next few weeks. Fingers crossed we can sort things out and start getting, some decent performances on the park. Morale up a wee bit, and the performances, John, where we can take care of this league title, John, this league challenge. We can put in some decent performances and start putting teams to bed. And then the rest of the UK press, John, they can be put back in their boxes as well. Not just the Rangers fans, but the whole of the UK press absolutely choking for Celtic to fail. Hibs, John, David Gray, the manager, 3 o'clock kick-off on Sunday. Hibs last win at Celtic Park was 2010, John. So a whole 16 years ago, the last time the Hibs beat us at Celtic Park. we must continue that, John. We must get the 3 points on Sunday.
Nothing less will do, Xander. It's got to be 3 points. It's got to be 3 points, nothing else. A draw's no good. I know we're kind of heavy relying on Rangers results and Hearts results right now as well. We're constantly looking over at them as well. I think that's created a lot of tension as well. You know how close we are in the league. I think the thing is with Celtic though, I think if we do go to the top of the league in the next couple of weeks, we'll stay there, Xander. We won't be moved for that spot, and we will go to win the league if we get to the top.
Yeah, and you've got to bear in mind the manager we've got at the helm, John. He's the man that's that's steering the ship, if you like, and he's very experienced manager, John. So, you know what? I mean, you did say about half an hour ago, John, it's exciting, and it is exciting, John, but for all the wrong reasons for the Celtic supporters. But you know, if the end result is still the same, then yeah, we've had an exciting season, and we lift a trophy or two as well, John. Mark McDermott, he is the referee for this one. Daniel McFarland and Chris Ray, they are the lines people. Don't want to say linesman because you get in trouble for that. So the lines person. All the referees' assistants, if you want to be modern about it, you can call them referees' assistants. On the VAR, we have Grant Irvin, so that is your officials for the Hibs game. On the injury list for Celtic, obviously the usual ones, John, into it. Jota, Vickers, Alistair Johnson still out, Osman still out, although they two should return very soon. Montgomery, he's on the injury list as well, and of course Arnie Ingles also on the injury list. A quick run through the Hibs team, John, as regards to injuries. What I want to do is start with the players that have returned because I've had that full week's rest. Karanga returns, Newell returns, Campbell returns, Nicky Cadden returns, John. So they've got 4 players returning from injury after a full week's rest.
Good for them.
Yeah, but out for Hibs is Chris Cadden, the other Cadden. He's out. Grant Hanley is out of this one. Obita is out of this one. Josh Mulligan is also out of this one. And I didn't realise that Quan was still with Hibs, John. I didn't realise that. But he's ineligible anyway.
He doesn't get a game for Hibs.
No.
That's another wee flop there, Xander. Oh, Noodle Boy.
Of course, John. I really just more or less forgot about him. But no, they've got mixed news there, John. 4 in, 4 out. Sort of a mixed news for Hibs there, John. But, you know, Celtic's injury list is just what's really, you know, killed us this season. Let's be honest, John. Jota, no kick to ball. Whether he was playing well or not, he's still a fantastic player. Engels, we're really missing him, I think. Carter Vickers goes without saying. Johnston goes without saying. And then all the other injuries we had all season as well, John. Iniacho, Sirachi, you know, these kind of guys that were out all season. We had other players out as well, John. But, you know, it takes its toll in the end, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I mean, it doesn't help with your results when you're constantly changing the team about because of injuries. It doesn't help anything at all. By the way, before anybody starts complaining, when I says Noodle Boy, when Quan was mentioned, there used to be a packet of noodles called Quan Noodles. That's why I says Noodle Boy, just in case anybody was wondering.
You always get one, don't you? Right. Okay. The odds, John, let's have a wee quick look at the odds in this one. Celtic 4-9, so hot favourites again. The draw 4-1 and an away win is priced at 7-1 for the Hibs. Okay, Celtic's top scorer, Nygren, he's the man who's banging into the goals for us just now, John. We'll run through the team in a wee minute, John. A wee quick run through what we think's going to happen in each department. But I'll quickly run through the Hibs predicted starting 11 for me anyway. Salinger in goal, O'Hara, Bashiri, Iredale, Pastelak, Ballister, Andrews, Cadden, Elding and Suttle up front for Hibs. That's a starting 11 for me. For the Hibs coming to Celtic Park. But let's go through the Celtic team then, John. We'll start with the goalkeeper. Who is it for you? Sinisalo or will Casper keep his place?
Oh, it's a tough call, isn't it? I think you've got to look at that performance against Stuttgart and you've got to say, if an outfield player put in a poor performance like that, he'd be dropped for the next game. I think Casper's got to be dropped and I think he will be. I think Sinisalo will start this one. I think Casper needs a rest. I think he needs to be given a bit of time to get his head together. But like I says, in Casper's defence, I don't think his defence is helping him much.
Absolutely not, John. I think you'll go with Sinisalo. I think there's been too much happening, John. I really do think. Who did you say would start with, John? Who did you think?
I think Sinisalo, just taking into account everything that happened in midweek with him getting booed and letting in 4 goals and all that stuff. So I think he will start with Sinisalo. I think Casper's going to be rested.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one. We'll find out at 2 o'clock on Sunday, I suppose. So let's move into the defence then, John. Well, obviously we've got the problems with Big Trusty, John. Should this boy Arthur now get his chance in beside either one of the two centre halves there, John Scales or Trusty? I think he should, but maybe Martin O'Neill doesn't like what he sees in training. I don't know, John. But we signed him. He needs to start playing games. This boy Arthur.
Something's got to change in the defence, and it's got to change quick. There's nothing in that defence that would scare any team now. Hibs will be looking forward to playing against Scales and Trusty, as every other team clearly has. They've banged in all sorts of goals. So I don't think Hibs will be any different, Sander. They'll fancy their chances with that defence. Of
course they will, John. We've been the big gaps in defence the whole season, not just defence, but midfield as well, John. So what's your starting line-up at the back then, John? What's your four at the back?
Trusty and Scales. I don't think that will change. I think it's all we've got right now. It's just probably, I don't know if it's the strongest defence, but it's just probably the ones that Martin relies on. Experience, so it will be they two. Experience counts for nothing when you're no performing, of course, but it will be them two, and it will be Kieran Tierney and Arujo. Centre of the park, Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate and Nygren.
Yeah.
And up front, this could be a tricky one. Dyson again midweek. He did some amount of running about in midweek, Dyson, right enough. More running than he does in the domestic games. I think Dyson will be dropped for this one, Xander. I'm going to say Yang, Tenecti with Van Schara through the middle.
Right, okay. Well, I'm going to say, what I would like to happen, let's put it this way first, John. What I'd like Martin to do is put Kieran Tierney at left centre back, John, and bring Sriracha in. So it'll be Sriracha, Kieran Tierney left centre back, Big Trusty, because it means Scales would get dropped. I know Trusty's a total bomb scale just now. And of course Arajo left right back, John. So I don't know if the big man, what's his name again, the big builder, Ralston, I don't know if he would get a game now, but I don't know. I'll go with Arajo, Trusty, Tierney at left centre back, John, and Sriracha, John, in that one defence. In the midfield it'll be Callum for me. I think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will get a start this time out, John, with Nygren. Yeah, I agree with you there. And up front, it's going to be Big Van Schara, obviously, Dyson and Tenecti, John. But what about in the actual, John? He came on with about 50 minutes to go, didn't he? How did he look?
He never done anything. Never really got a chance to do anything. Just Celtic weren't in control of that game at any point. So you never get much chance to do anything, but it'll be Van Schara playing up front. It won't be in the actual. Something needs to change up front as well, by the way, because as we know, Nygren scored more teams than all our strikers put together. That's really bad for a Celtic team, Xander. Really, really bad.
Aye, John, it really is a case of now, isn't it? Put Europe out your head, isn't it? I know it's raw, it's still raw. It was only a couple of nights ago, and it's still raw, and it's a heavy defeat at Celtic Park. Nobody wants to see it in a Celtic persuasion. But we need to now, everybody, put it out of our heads and totally focus on the league challenge, John. We need to get behind the team, back the manager, every single player, whether they're playing badly or not. Whoever he picks to go out in that park, John, every single body in that stadium has to back the team.
Aye, but it's easier said than done because it's a team that's underperforming. It doesn't get bums off his seats to roll the team on when your team's performing like that. People just sit down and bite their nails at Celtic Park now. That's how far we've regressed. It is nail biting when you're watching Celtic because anything can happen. Struggling against Dundee and Falkirk and Kilmarnock. I mean, come on. I'm just watching the Aberdeen game, by the way. They're currently winning 1-0 and big Simon Murray's just about to hit a penalty, Xander, just before half time. Let me tell you what happens. 1-0 to Aberdeen right now. Simon Murray steps up, bangs it into the net, one each.
There you go, The Dismals. No, I know what you're saying. You look at the Kilmarnock game. where the fans totally backed the team. Every single man, woman and child in that stand backed the team and rode us on to a 3-2 win against Kilmarnock. I know it's a different level, I understand that, but they did back the team, John, every single one of them. So we just want to see that in every game now, from now, until the end of the season, because every single game now, John, is a cup final for Celtic.
It's different away from home, though. The fans get right behind the team. They always do. They always have done. As far back as I can remember, even through the dark times, the fans have always packed out their way ends and get right behind the team. That's always been the case. It's at Celtic Park. As Mark Manil says, it was a place that was once feared by all, the likes of Juventus, Man United, Liverpool, all the rest of them, Barcelona. Now you look at it, and teams can't wait to come there, Xander. They can't wait to get there to try and get one over in Celtic, because it's not the place it used to be. That's gone. And that's where the board need to step up and say, let's get the fans back in. Let's give them what they want, because, like I said earlier, what Jockstein says, without them, football's nothing. The board need to sort it, and then they get the fans back in the stadium. They need the atmosphere back. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, exactly, John. Yeah, exactly. Okay, right. We'll see what happens. I keep saying it, but that's all we can do, isn't it, John? We'll wait and see what happens on Sunday afternoon. Right, John, a prediction then for this one off of you, top of the league there on your left-hand side. We need a score prediction for, I think I know roughly what you're going to say here, but what's your prediction for the game Sunday then?
Oh, it's a hard one. Again, this is why the big league table that we've got up on the left-hand side, it's no many people have got that many points, because it's hard to predict.
Yeah.
It's really hard to predict. It's just a guess anyway. Nobody knows for sure, but I don't know. Again, it needs to be a big reaction. It needs to be a big reaction from Celtic. I'm sure they know that. I'm sure they know about all the press stuff, all the negative stuff surrounding the club right now. But that's up to the board yet again, like I keep saying. It's up to them to fix this. Mark Manil, he can only prepare the teams under. He can only prepare them. And hopefully he's done a good job of preparing them this time. And he's picked the right squad. And he hasn't picked guys like Paulo Bernardo and Kasper Schmeichel, who needs a rest, by the way, like we keep saying. But I'm going to go for, I think Celtic, I hope I'm right. I just hope Celtic, they're going to be angry at their performance in midweek, and they'll be looking to take that out on Sunday. I'm going to say 2-0 to Celtic.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the same, John. Obviously, because we can just hope at this point. But I'll go the 3-0 to Celtic, John, in this one. I think you're right. I think the players will be angry with themselves. The manager will be unhappy with the players. He'll want a better performance out of every single one of them, including the captain, by the way. And we'll go there and get that 3-0 win. Put a wee marker down would be fantastic. What we don't want, John, is another lacklustre showing, John. We just cannot afford it.
No, I don't know if that's going to happen. You might, like you says, by the way, you might see what's his name, the Ox, getting a start in this one. He says he's ready to go in his wee interview on Celtic TV. He's good to go. He's good to start. It's not up to him who starts, right enough. It's up to Mark O'Neill who's going to start the game.
Yeah,
but maybe having a guy with his experience, a Champions League winner beside them, maybe give the players a wee lift. I really don't know. But the performance is going to be better. I mean, you could be talking another close game. You could be talking another 2-1, 3-2, that type of game. Celtic are not going to wipe the floor with anybody, that's for sure. That won't happen tomorrow. I guarantee that. No,
that's not happened all season, really, apart from that Dundee United game, John, as you said. All right, John. That'll be rough. So I'll just give a wee quick date on the scores, like you said, John. Aberdeen 1, Dundee 1. The big ginger one scoring an equaliser there. Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0 at half time. Hearts 1, Falkirk 0 at half time. So Hearts already in the lead in that one. The St Mirren game against Motherwell, that's later on in the Saturday night. We'll move on to Lenny and Brunei watch. Let's have a wee quick look at that. We have Arbroath 1, Dunfermline 1. Ayr United 0. Ross County 0, John, at half time, nothing each at half time there. And Celtic B 1, Clydebank 1. John. That's all your half-time scores. So you're right up to date with that, John. All right, John, thanks for coming on. I know it's a wee bit doom and gloom. No doom and gloom, but pretty strong opinions there, shall we say. We hope we're on higher spirits come Monday when we come on, John.
Certainly hope so. I was just watching the Aberdeen game there. Wanted to I don't know if they get a man sent off. I've seen a red card getting flashed, followed by a yellow card. So I'm not sure the flag are perfect sent after. But on a positive note, 2-1 to Dundee.
Yeah, I just saw that flashing up there, John. 2-1 to Dundee. And there was a red card for L. Morrison for Aberdeen, John. So Murray and Congreve scored for Dundee, and Nisbet scored for Aberdeen. So 2-1 at half time to Dundee. So fair play to Big Presley's men there. All right, John, we'll call it a day. We'll do a full roundup with the results on Monday, and we'll catch you on Monday, John. See you Monday, buddy.
Catch you Mondays, Xander. Hail, hail.
Hail, buddy. See you later.